Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Idle Musings of a Nerd Mind podcast. I like how you guys wave. That makes me feel so good inside. It's just like, oh, you're doing a princess wave now. Is it just for me?
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And everybody who's listening to the audio version of this is like, what the fuck is going on? I love it. I love it. Thank you guys, everyone, for joining us tonight. If you're joining us via Facebook or Twitter, thank you so much for liking our pages and liking us on social media to be able to see this stuff. And for those of you who are joining via the audio podcast, feel free, if you want to see the video version of this, go check us out over on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. We're also on YouTube now, so we're going live on all three of those just for you guys. Just for you. Just for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was waiting for you to sing, Steph. Like, I feel like we didn't get enough song last week for you to start singing.
It's coming.
Oh, okay.
I'm just warming up.
Are you saying, are you trying to tell me, hold on, I'm coming? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Sure.
Sure. Wow.
Yeah.
Brutal. So brutal. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Nonetheless, you're now watching a gladiator arena where I am being slaughtered by Stephanie over here. My name is Matt Reifschneider. You can check me out over at Twitter at the Movie Matt. You can see that below my picture over there. And I am joined once again by the wonderful woman over here,
Stephanie.
I like it. You just made me hit that high note. Why would you do that to me? Why would you do that to me?
I love it.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Stephanie. And then below me, of course, I've got the wonderful
Richard Williams. How are y'all? I'm like saying, I wish everyone could have their own theme song when they're walking down the street. I'm just saying, mine's gonna rock. Right.
I'm all about that. Except mine needs to be kind of like when the wrestlers in pro wrestling come out, and there's like fucking sparks everywhere I walk.
I love that.
Everywhere.
That would be really cute and fun. I would love it.
Yeah. Richard, now I have to ask, what would your theme song be?
Oh shit. God, what am I? I like all kinds of music. Something 60s.
What did Dracula listen to?
Nothing. Like wolves and bats and people screaming. It's like this. They're almost dead. Ignore them. They're almost dead.
All he listens to is funeral dirges. Is that what you're trying to
God. Oh my god. I don't know. Let me think about that. I'll do it later.
Okay.
Theme song would
I
be.
will come back to that. Don't let me forget. I'm going to come back to that by the end of our episode. I'm going to come back to find out what your theme song is. So you be thinking about that. You be thinking about it. All right, Steph, what is your theme song when you walk down the street?
Oh man.
And you thought you were going to get away scot-free from this. That's
I kind of did for a second. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god.
I don't know. What's your theme song, Matt?
It's gonna be, and you're gonna hate me because I totally am stealing your thunder on this one, Steph. It is gonna be "I'm in Trouble," the ending theme song from Bastard. Because tell me that is not the best theme song ever to walk down anything with.
It's true.
It's true. It's true. Come on, tell me.
I do love that song. I'm not gonna lie, that's a really good one.
Yeah,
well, that is good.
So there we go. Well, we'll come back to you guys. We'll come back to you guys here at the end of the episode. Find out what your theme song is when you walk down. We got a wonderful episode for everybody tonight, and that includes. And thank you for again checking out any of our back. If you've tuned into previous episodes or anything like that, you probably know kind of how we work here. We're basically a stream of consciousness of three nerd minds all coming into one, and sometimes that creates some disagreement. Sometimes that creates some agreements, and we've got some thoughts for you guys. Of course, you can always join the conversation if you use the hashtag down below, as you can see on the scroll, hashtag IMNM_nerds on Twitter and Facebook. So definitely check us out there with that. And of course, we want to hear what you guys think. If you guys have any thoughts about the subjects that we talk about, because sometimes we talk about a lot of stuff. Sometimes we get stuck on one item. I mean, we went 15 minutes over last week, and it was a good discussion, though. I thought that was one of our best episodes. I loved it. I loved it. Agree. And so we have a lot of stuff to talk about. So why don't we just get rolling with it? How about you guys let me know? I'm going to kick it over to Steph first and foremost. Just let me know. And I pointed the wrong direction again. Once again, Steph, if you want to give me, let me know. What have you been watching, reading, playing this week?
Well, Matthew, thank you for asking.
Oh, she got a Matthew. Oh, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble.
Uh-oh.
I guess I'm just gonna sing this episode, Steph. I'm sorry. I'm
I don't know. I feel like we haven't really watched as much stuff as we usually do. We saw Doctor Strange, but obviously we'll get to that.
Yeah, we're gonna drop that one down.
And then, of course, I had to deflower you and introduce you to Basilisk. Classic anime. Absolutely.
Oh my god. It's on my list. It's on my list right there. Anyway.
Absolutely.
Dude, Richard, you got to. It's wild. It's like Ninja Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones existed.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yes, definitely one of my favorites. But yeah, I don't know. Other than that.
Yeah, we didn't even get to go to the movie theater. We went and saw Doctor Strange, and for the most part, we've just kind of been watching a lot of Basilisk. I think that's
wow, I can't wait. I can't wait. Bring it.
And I'm looking at my letterbox, and it's been Basilisk all the way. We was just digging into it. So good stuff, though. Good stuff. All right, Richard, what about you? What have you been watching this week?
Finished Picard, Star Trek Picard season 2, and I like the ending. Season 1. I like season 1 just slightly better, but isn't that always the case? Season 1 is slightly better than season 2, but I mean, season 2 had Q in it, so it was really fun. They're pulling 7 of 9 from Voyager. She's on the show. It was okay. I wasn't super excited about the ending, but it was okay. That certain people are leaving the show, and I think that's why it's okay and not awesome for me, because I don't want to see certain people leave. I can't wait till season 3. They're bringing back the main cast of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and that's how they're going out, and I am A-okay with that. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds is amazing. All the people who are supposedly real Trekkies are like, we love it. It's getting back to what it used to be, the original Star Trek. And you know what? I love it. You get to see a young Uhura. You get to see a younger Spock. You get to see Pike, who was the first captain of the Enterprise until Kirk comes in. You get to see one of Kirk's family members who's working on the ship. It's cool. I'm loving that one a lot. So that's kind of me, just playing games and going around trying to bring joy to people's life. Something like that. I don't know. That's what I'm doing.
Turns out you're also Santa Claus. You're a vampire and Santa Claus.
Oh, I barbecued. I didn't get burned a lot. My bit got burned. I was like trying to flip stuff, and I had a friend over, and he's like, "You are gonna catch on fire, Richard." And I'm like, if it happens, at least I'll eat the steak going down. I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
Anyway, that's me. Let's go.
For a second there, I was like, oh, I didn't get burned. And I was thinking like, oh, you didn't like burn your steak. Not like you burned yourself. Like, I guess like that's where my disconnect was there on that one. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I have my mitt and, I'm trying to like flip things and evidently I get too close. Fire is coming up and the mitt gets on fire and then I just hit it against my garage door and then all my neighbors just look at me like, it smells really good. I'm like, yeah, it's probably my flesh on fire. Anyway, my neighbors laugh. Every time I barbecue, it's a laugh for them. So I'm like, if I can make you happy today, you're welcome. Really wait for flames. Really wait for flames.
It's dinner and a show, really, is what that is.
Yeah, every time.
It's like Ari Ring. Are they cook in front of you? They're like,
like Benihana?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I ain't chopping shit up. I
ain't preparing anything. I'm just cooking.
Oh no! Like my friend was just laughing at me. He's like, "Do you want me to help you cook?" And I'm like, "I can cook." And he's like, "On fire, Richard. You're on fire. You're bad."
Yeah. You cooked your own hand.
Anyway.
So yeah, there you go. I feel like you had a very productive week then. So
you didn't catch on fire.
You didn't catch on fire, and we're going to call that a win. So
right, and you've got food for at least 2 or 3 days. That's not bad.
Yeah,
that's not
bad. There you go.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, that's fun. What was that, Steph?
Nothing.
Okay, just double checking. All right. I was gonna say. I know we all like stopped and we're like, "What?
What was that?
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for you to just break out in a full tap dance routine in one of these episodes, and I am fully in for that. I was gonna say, I actually, as I mentioned with Steph, I haven't even watched a lot of stuff either. I've watched a couple of things. I obviously we got to see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but we're gonna drop that down and talk about that with spoilers for everybody. So we'll talk about that here in a second. I did finally get to catch Uncharted, which was definitely a aggressively fine movie. It's fine. It's not
aggressively fine. I love
it's okay, like it's better than Jungle Cruise, but it's still not up to like say Mummy standards of like
pretty much anything's better than Jungle Cruise. So
I actually fully agree with that. I did not love Jungle Cruise, or pretty much anything about Jungle Cruise. So hey, it's almost like they made a movie where they asked, "Can women wear pants?" and then proceeded to ask that question 30 times. So that's Jungle Cruise. Uncharted, however, is just I don't know. It's interesting that movie made as much money as it did. Don't get me wrong. Like I love the games. I'm a huge fan of the games, but the movie itself was pretty. I don't want to say bland, but it's very middle of the road in terms of like it didn't take a lot of chances. It very much followed the Indiana Jones kind of adventure model. Right. Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg are charming enough, I guess, but I just wasn't like super invested into it. It was fine. It's one of those movies you put on when you're doing laundry and you put it on TBS and you watch it through and that's kind of where that movie sits. So that's my 2 cents on Uncharted. I also had a chance to watch a couple of, for people who may be not aware, I'm a huge Kung Fu nerd with martial arts movies, as Steph can attest to this. I did get to watch the Fist of Legend. I thought it was a remake from 2019 of the 1990s Jet Li one, which in itself is a remake of the Bruce Lee one from the 70s. But I thought it was going to be a remake. Turns out it is a prequel reboot, so it's a pre-boot for the character, for Chen Zhen. The character, it was made for streaming in China, but it got a release via Hiya, the martial arts app here. So hashtag not sponsored, hashtag open to it. If you're listening, Hiya, would love to hear you. I definitely enjoyed this movie way more than I thought I would, especially because it is kind of a low budget, essentially made for TV kind of martial arts movie. The action is actually pretty well choreographed, and it's a whopping like 77 minutes. So it is short and sweet and to the point. Yeah, it's just like I love a good 70-minute movie. Let's normalize 70 and 60-minute movies. But I just thought it was kind of a fun time. I was kind of shocked at how much I enjoyed it. So I've been kind of digging through some of those movies that are on the Hiya app there, trying to catch up on those. But I think that's kind of all I have to talk about before we get into the main ones for this week in terms of our main subject that we wanted to talk about. Is there anything you guys would like to add? I mean, maybe a song?
Sing, Stephanie.
Sweet Child of Mine? Would you like to do Sweet Child of Mine? I know previous listeners might recognize that.
Stop it. Guns and the Roses.
Guns and the Roses. Love it. But we even saw that trailer in front of Doctor Strange, and it was just, we just started laughing because it was just the Guns and the Roses for new Thor, for Thor 4. Nonetheless, why don't we jump into our main topic for the night? And maybe if we have some time, we'll add a trailer park at the end of it because we had a lot of new trailers. But obviously, we're going to be going into spoiler territory here. But all three of us have finally gotten around to seeing Doctor Strange 2, thanks to being free from COVID for a hot minute. We were able to go to the theater and check out Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, directed by Sam Raimi. Just came out. It's still in theaters for everybody. We are talking spoilers, so if you are haven't seen it yet, if you're one of the 3 people that hasn't seen it, statistically speaking, then you're welcome to just kind of fast forward for the next 15 to 20 minutes. I'm sure that's how long we'll take to kind of discuss this, but initial thoughts, I'm going to say, I kicked it off with Stephanie first. Why don't we kick it off with Richard? Initial thoughts on Doctor Strange 2, or as I like to call it, Too Strange, Too Multiverse. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm that
can't
guy.
With you.
I love it. I love it. First of all, I love Sam Raimi. Drag Me to Hell, Army of Darkness, Evil Dead, all of them. I loved it. It was a little bit scarier than I thought it would be for PG-13. He was pushing it. He was like right there at that PG-13, and I loved it. I do want to go into talking about Wanda and WandaVision a little bit. I feel okay with it, but it's not what I expected. But that's on me because I had expectations. And bless you.
Sorry, guys.
I had expectations, and something like this, you shouldn't go in with expectations. Because I just read the comic books and I love Doctor Strange. I mean, I wear like my Doctor Strange t-shirt. Everyone's like, "Where'd you get it?" I'm like, I'm an original. I almost see like 5 people around town with Doctor Strange on their right here. But yeah, I don't know. I'll go into Wanda a little bit later. It really was a WandaVision continuation into this.
Let me pause you for a second. I know you said you had some expectations for. What expectations, I guess, did you expect going in? Because obviously the marketing certainly portrayed things in a different light than that film actually was in terms of what the trailers did. But what kind of expectations, I guess, did you have going in?
I didn't want Wanda to be that evil. I mean, she was like killing people, and
Yeah, she was.
I mean, yeah. And
Steph
I
was
was
like,
just
"Fuck yeah,
like,
she was. She was killing assholes left and
right.
right."
I'm like, you can't pull her back from Crazy Town. Well, actually, at the end, it kind of happened a little bit, but I understand wanting your kids, but not going down that path. And as soon as she saw like the kids were scared of her, and it's like, you're not our mom, our mom's over there. And I love how anyway, I just love how she came up to her and she's like, I understand, basically if this happened to me, I wouldn't know. I love the Illuminati. They all died. I'm like, really? You brought Professor X on for this? So I'm okay with it. I'm all right. But I do like Black Bolt. He's my favorite superhero. I have a T-shirt anyway. It's a thing. And I was kind of hoping Vision would come and kind of stop her and just go, remember who you are. Kind of
That's
thing.
actually interesting that, and we did not see him in any of the universes. That's an interesting point. Vision.
Yeah. He wasn't in
I didn't
any
even
of the
think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, he took off like after WandaVision, the White Vision. He just took off after the other Vision downloaded like all his memories of Wanda and their adventures and stuff like. He took off, and people are like, "Why did he take off?" I'm like, he just got like a mind dump. You kind of have to go away and figure out shit. Just
I gotta go to the Bahamas and really process
I can't with this. So, it's. I kind of was hoping Vision would be there, but again, that's on me. That's an expectation. It didn't ruin the movie for me, and I'm really good about going, oh shit, this is my expectation, what I wanted. And just because I didn't get it doesn't mean I'm gonna like go bomb, the movie website or Marvel and stuff like that. She just signed a 7-year contract. Who's to say that's not gonna happen? I want her to stop, and I kind of want Vision to help her. They are forming the Young Avengers. So Miss Chavez is a part of it. And I will tell you one thing that kind of pissed me off. Gay representation. They did show her moms. They did. Okay, that's great. And they did have like the new gay pen on her jacket.
Mm-hmm.
She's bi. Gay bi, whatever. It kind of made me a little sad because it was an opportunity for Marvel to go, guess what? I'm not hating on them for it because they did it in Eternals. They showed a beautiful marriage relationship with two men with a kid. I just wish they would have went further. Marvel's doing it. They're trying to, represent, but anyway, it's just like little nitpick things here and there. Overall, I love the movie. It was a horror movie. It was Marvel's first horror movie, and I liked it. That's it.
Yeah, you bring up a lot of good points, and so I'm going to throw it over to Steph because I think Steph brought up a good point about Vision, about like not seeing them in different multiverses and whatnot. What did you think, Steph, overall? And I think maybe
I'm here.
Steph, are you there?
You're just
okay.
Sorry.
Am I lagging a lot?
Yes.
A little bit.
Okay, cool. So I was going to kick it over to you. What did you think a little bit about Doctor Strange 2 in general, and kind of responding to some of Richard's thoughts on it?
I mean, I definitely have a different perspective because I am not a superhero, enthusiast.
Comic book nerd. It's all good.
I thought it was good. It was definitely, I found it to be one of the better ones. I definitely like that they had a Hispanic chick in there.
Yes.
I don't know about punching stars though, dude. I mean,
it happens.
It's cool that she's like, it's cool that she's Hispanic and she has no borders, and stuff like that.
There
But
right.
I don't know. Not really a fan of the whole star thing. I loved when Wanda was like, well, why is it okay if a man does it?
Exactly.
But for me, it's wrong.
Exactly.
I thought that was fantastic. I didn't actually mind her being the bad one because was she bad? I don't know.
Yeah, she was influenced by the Darkhold. It's absolutely horrible. Right. So
exactly.
AKA Necronomicon.
Pretty much, right?
Yes.
I love that Bruce Campbell had a cameo. That was great. Absolutely. I thought, what I really liked when the Illuminati were there, and she fucking killed the two dudes right off the bat, and then it was just a girl fight.
Yeah,
that was great. I really, really liked that. Yeah, I love the horror elements. I love like these fucking evil spirits are becoming his wings at the end, and he's like a fucking animated corpse.
Awesome.
I loved all that. I don't know what else. It was good. It was good. It was a good superhero movie.
You touched on a lot of good points. Yeah.
What about you, Matt?
Yeah, it's
your turn.
I was gonna say it's a fascinating movie simply because like it almost exists more as a finale for WandaVision than even a standalone Strange movie, because I feel like her character arc is much stronger than his, even if she is sidelined as like the big bad for a majority of the film, running around killing people, Evil Dead 2 style. It makes for an interesting. Yeah, go ahead, Steph.
My favorite death was obviously Professor X's. That shit just came out of nowhere. Like, that was crazy. Just snapping his neck. Oh, man! That's how he's gonna go. Oh, yo! Oh, man.
Yeah, but when he came in, they started ripping that guitar riff from the X-Men cartoon, and he had the yellow chair.
Hello.
And I was just like,
I love the yellow chair.
Exactly.
That's one of those things that's a fan service that like occasionally could annoy me, but maybe my love of the X-Men cartoon totally like made that okay. So, and I think in general that I think Doctor Strange 2 was a flawed film, but because I am such a Raimi fan, and I think we're all pretty big Raimi fans here, in terms of a director, because of that, I feel like I was willing to overlook some of the flaws because there was a lot of creativity in terms of visuals going on, and even when things didn't necessarily make sense, like even the Souls of the Damned, although visually just very cool, you're like logically, you're like, where are these coming from? Do they exist in one dimension? How are they coming through multiple dimensions? I started to ask questions at that point, and I don't think I needed to be asking those questions, but nonetheless, there was so much style, and the film was having so much fun with its ideas that I think in an MCU film. The Wanda storyline is really interesting, and you guys bring up the Vision thing because originally I kind of thought the same thing. Was that I was expecting Vision to kind of show up and almost be like a guiding light for her at some point. And then when he didn't come up, I was actually kind of thrilled by that because I kind of feel like the last thing a movie like this with a message about a mother learning to love but draw a line and learning to let go, the last thing she needs to do is be told by a man on how to do that. And I don't know, and I think so it was kind of smart. If you wanted to do like the dead husband trope or anything like that, I mean, that's obviously a big part of this, but I don't know. I just I for the Wanda really worked for me. The Wanda kind of storyline. In fact, it worked even better than I feel like even Miss Chavez's storyline was, as you kind of noted, a little bit weaker because it was focused on Strange and Wanda more so than anything else. Enough so that Chavez, although conceptually a very cool character, it was kind of left underdeveloped compared to the other two. But I don't know. I was the film was just having so much fun visually, and it was moving so quickly that I was like, okay, I'm game. I'm on the train. So, but go ahead, Richard.
I think with Chavez, America Chavez, this is her first time. They are just introducing her, and she's basically the MacGuffin of the movie.
Yeah,
it's just
sure.
like, yeah, and I get that, and that's cool because I read she's going to be in other movies, so there are chances to flesh her out a little bit more, in my opinion. With Wanda, I don't know. It just made me sad, but good point. Vision shouldn't have to come and tell her, and it didn't happen because she knew she was wrong at the end of the movie. Towards the end of the movie, she knew she was wrong, and that's why she's like, let everything fall on me, and I just die and go away. But she's not gone. 7-year contract, okay. And then you see when it's all falling, you see like that crimson light. I mean, who knows? She could have escaped, or who knows what happened. I'm interested. So that made me happy because I'm like, okay, where do you go from here? Type of situation. Yeah. So anyway.
And it was interesting because Steph even brought up after the movie, she was like, I was kind of hoping for a Wanda on Wanda fight. What do you do you want to explain that, Steph, maybe a little bit more, like what you were kind of thinking about there? I thought that was an interesting point.
At the end, I don't know. I mean, I appreciate the ending with Wanda, her saying like, I love them, if it's okay, they're in good hands. But like, I'd like to see some Wanda kicking some Wanda ass. I feel like there was really no good fight with her because she just fucked everybody up.
OP, overpowered.
Yeah, she's OP.
Super OP.
So OP. I was even hoping for that girl fight to last like a little longer.
I know.
Just a little bit. But yeah, she was just fucking everything up. And what better opponent than herself? Because that's who she was battling, is herself.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point that, like it would have been interesting to visualize that, like the fight between them. I get what they were kind of going for. And I think more or less you're kind of running out of time. We've already hit 2 hours and whatnot. And she is OP, right? She could probably, the Scarlet Witch could probably take Momda pretty well. So in a fight and whatnot. So I will say the Illuminati fight, like, I kind of appreciated how fucking violent that was for a PG-13 movie.
Yeah, it was.
Michael, can we all just talk about this? It's like, boom, he can do it. He can like whisper a word and destroy you. And she's like, what mouth?
Yo, that was crazy.
No. Go ahead.
What do you guys think of the casting of John Krasinski or whatever the hell his name is?
I loved it. It's been a rumor, like on the internet for a couple of years. I hope he gets it. Who knows?
I mean, wasn't he in the movie as
Reed Richards?
He's a variant. He's not the Mr. Fantastic for our Earth, which is 616. So he's out there somewhere. The same thing with Black Bolt. So these were, I don't know, did y'all get that on this Earth, they killed Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
And they did things very different. Instead of Carol Danvers as Miss Marvel, her best friend got it. So, I don't know. Yeah. yeah, they're not dead. Like these people, and they could look completely different. Look at Loki. You know, not all of his variants looked like Tom Hiddleston. You know, they had alligator Loki,
which he still needs his
yeah.
own spin-off show. I'm in for
He's
Gator
totally
Loki.
That. And Frog Thor, totally.
Yeah. I'm in.
But yeah, they're not dead. They're just dead in that multiverse. Does that make sense? Am I confused?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know. The John Krasinski, like it's interesting that it coincides with the news that they're ending the Jack Ryan Amazon show with him. Right about at the same time. So
shit. Okay.
So that's an interesting kind of tidbit with the John Krasinski news. But maybe he's busy with his whole Quiet Place multi-universe himself.
I'm not a huge fan of him. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, me neither. He's fine.
He's nothing special to me, but I thought he kind of rocked that role for the little bit of time he was on screen. I was like, oh, you did a good job, but we need to go into depth to see how you really represent, Mr. Fantastic. But
see, for me, if I was fan casting Mr. Fantastic, it's definitely Bruce Greenwood. I adore Bruce Greenwood.
Oh, yes.
And I'm like, he's the perfect Mr. Fantastic. Yes. Anyway, that's my fan casting. So that's where I'm at with that. So
wow.
I don't know. And what's fascinating about Doctor Strange 2, more so than anything else, is, or Too Strange, Too Multiverse, is that thanks for laughing, Steph. Thanks for laughing, Richard. I appreciate that you guys tempt fate by promoting my terrible subtitles. It's very interesting because it actually has one of the lowest scores from Cinema Score for Marvel movies. And for those of you who maybe are watching or listening that don't know what Cinema Score is the ratings that audiences will give a movie during opening weekend as they're leaving the theater. And they give it a grade on like a kind of a school letter grade, A, B, C, D, F. And this movie got a B Cinema Score. And there's only like 3, I think, MCU movies that have ever gotten a B. All the rest have always gotten A's, and this is one that got a B. So I'm really curious because as we kind of noted last week in our discussion about continuity, that a lot of what I'm hearing in terms of fan reaction to this is that a lot of people were like, you didn't do enough in this movie. There wasn't enough multiverse. There wasn't enough variance with it. And I think that that's a really interesting reaction. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
No, I don't agree with that. I don't know.
You don't agree with that, Steph?
No, I think it was fine for me. I mean, how much more could you have packed into that movie?
Exactly.
To me, I feel like it was nonstop. There was always something happening. Like, what more? What more? I don't know.
I guess people just wanted to see like different versions of Wanda and Wong and Doctor Strange and Christine Palmer. Oh my god, I love Christine, but it's not meant to be, even in the comic books. So it's all good. But yeah, I mean, did you look at the previous Marvel movies? Because it was up that weekend, and then it went down. Did you know Civil War was one of the movies where it was like up here like that first weekend and then went down, and it was a little drastic. Did you see that, Matt?
I did. So. The box office drop for this was I think it was 67% from week 1 to week 2 drop, which is one of the larger drops that the MCU has had. Black Widow was something similar to that.
That's right. Yes.
It's interesting because it's not unusual to see that kind of a large drop, especially for a blockbuster. They usually tend to be front heavy. And a lot of the question right now is why the drop? Is it actually because word of mouth is bad, or is it because everyone now knows within 45 days it's going to Disney Plus? And so if you're a fanboy, are you seeing it more than once in theaters, or are you just seeing it that opening weekend? Because the thing did like 180 million or something its opening weekend. So it did pretty good money, but it had a drop. But now there's a lot of question about it because this is the first Marvel movie. Obviously, Spider-Man actually had a pretty significant drop too. It was something like 61% its second weekend. Right. But that thing had legs because it just kept going. And so there's a big question now of kind of what will Doctor Strange to kind of look like even here in 3 or 4 weeks as we kind of go forward, looking at all of that. So
another thing I want to add really quick, I did appreciate that they didn't have Doctor Strange be so quippy, because I think one of my major plights with superhero movies is I feel like the character is always the same. Like, Doctor Strange is just Tony Stark, but a fucking magician. They all have that same personality.
Yeah, true.
So I like that they changed that a little bit and made it a little more serious. So yeah, sorry. Had to get that in.
Oh, no, I actually fully agree. I fully agree with that. I mentioned that last week, that I was like, I didn't love how they try to make fun of themselves here, and in the Marvel movies way too much for my liking. Like, just kind of accept it as is. So that even when, as you kind of pointed out, she punches stars, and I think I made a joke about that in theaters. I was like, star power, pow, it's the Star Road from Mario, pow, and
Rainbow Road.
Yeah, Rainbow Road. I can go to any world with the Star Road.
She can. She's kind of awesome. Right? Yeah.
But I like that nobody made fun of that in the movie. I like that Doctor Strange wasn't like, oh, I guess you punch stars over there. Or, you know what I mean? Like, nobody, it just was. And it was, you're in a fucked up world anyway. It's a weird fantasy world. It's okay. It's okay that you punch stars, right? Like, you don't need to necessarily explain it. So I actually I agree, Steph. I actually like that it wasn't quite as quippy. The humor does come in there, but it's more naturally written in there. The line where you're like, it's going to take more than killing me to kill me. And I think that's like a fun line, but it's like an honest line where they're not joking at something else. They're just making the line, and you can have your quips in there. Like, he'll stop punching himself in 3 weeks or so, like that's a pretty funny line, because it's just true. He's like, I put the spell on him. It takes 3 weeks. Like, I'm not going to make him, like that's a funny line. The Pizza Papa is a great cameo for Bruce Campbell. So 5 stars.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
5-star punches.
Can we talk about 2 characters that have been introduced from Doctor Strange from the comic books?
Yeah. Hit me.
Ryneth the Green Minotaur, he ended up becoming Doctor Strange's, he trained him. Doctor Strange in the comic books got his cape really messed up, had to take it to like wherever you take it. And he's the one that put it all back together, but I loved him in the comic books, because there was like this whole thing of Doctor Strange completely messed up. His brother died, but he kept him like suspended or what have you. He finally found the spell. He did it. And before that, Doctor Strange, Blade, and all of them got rid of vampires. It's Doctor Strange's fault in the comic books that vampires came back into Marvel Universe, because his brother was the first vampire. And anyway, I just love Ryneth, and he was a part of that whole arc. And Clea at the end, I love her. That's his wife eventually, and they're just fantastic together, because she doesn't deal with his shit. She's like, Steven, really? And I'm like, yeah, give it to him. But this is the thing nobody knows. The big bad in the first one, Dormammu.
Yeah,
that's his niece.
Okay, because I made the connection when she's like, we gotta go, and she cuts open, and all the colors in the thing is Dormammu's colors from the first one. Right. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck that means, but I guess I'm in. Like, Charlize Theron rules, so I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it.
I'm not gonna lie though, if she showed up and was like, here, you gotta go with me, I'd be like, I'm not sure I want to. It seems like you're getting a lot of weird shit in the movies. So like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go get my pasta at the corner shop. That's what I'm.
Oh my god! No, I loved it. Okay, another little thing I love: his lapel, like his pocket square, turned into his cape. I'm like, come on, I love it. And then his red scarf turned into his cape. I'm like, okay, I love this because he doesn't have to walk around with his cape all the time.
Mhm.
Okay,
And
so
people are like, "What are you, a wizard?"
yeah. So
I love that. I love that.
what I'm hearing from you, Richard, is you love Doctor Strange because he can wear scarves and they're magic scarves, and that you love him because he brings vampires into the world.
In the comic books. In the comic books, we got to wait till next year for Blade and see what actually happens. I'm wondering if they're going to do a riff on that. Basically, it's his fault that because of all the crap that happened, vampires end up coming into our universe, and even mutants. I'm really interested to see where they're going to go with this. Actually,
Yeah, it's really interesting. So, well, nonetheless, we're actually at time already, guys. So, any kind of final thoughts, anything you're looking forward to in the next month or so as you kind of look to the next thing? So, anything you're planning on watching this week that we can stay tuned for?
We're watching that zombie movie, right?
Oh, The Sadness.
The
Yes,
Sadness.
on Shudder. Yes, hashtag not sponsored, hashtag open to it.
Hell
oh
yeah.
my goodness.
That is the most intense zombie movie you'll ever hear is what I'm hearing for about The Sadness. So we should watch that tonight.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh shit.
Let's do it.
I'm looking forward to Wormwood, the Australian zombie movie.
Oh yeah.
Isn't this part 2?
This is part 2, yes.
Yeah, I figured. So I'm looking forward to that, actually. Of course, Young Justice and the last couple of episodes. But man, they've rocked it this season of like being able to incorporate real world problems, but not beat you over the head with it. It's like, okay, this mother has a child who's autistic. This is what happens. And this is like kind of a peek into their life. And I love that because it makes me want to love that character even more. So that's kind of it. Strange New Worlds, absolutely. Halo, loving it. Didn't like every episode, but loving it. Absolutely. I guess that's it. I mean,
all right.
The Flash, love it, but I'm kind of like, okay, you need to go off the air. I love you, but go before it gets crazy. Anyway. Yeah. All right, done.
Okay, perfect. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward. I got a lot of horror movies to catch up on this week, so I'm looking forward to those, including the new Firestarter. So I will tune in next week.
Oh my god!
And I will let you guys know what I thought about the new Firestarter.
Carry.
Everybody tells me it sucks, and so I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited to see.
Suck.
I know Steph called it before. She's like, "This doesn't look very good," and I was like, "I've got high hopes," and I hear it's terrible. So I'm excited to watch it. Let's find out.
I got the original. I'll just watch that.
Yeah, I got the original. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for everyone for tuning in, whether you're watching or listening over on our Facebook or Twitter account or YouTube or over on our audio podcast, wherever you put in your audio in the ears. Thank you to the kind people over at Ear Glue Media for all your support in getting this podcast off the ground. Thank you to Eric Fossum with Fossum Studios for all of our lovely artwork that we have here on the episode. And thank you to all of our supporters and backers. And of course, thank you to everyone that works so hard to bring so many nerdy things to us day in and day out. Even you, the people who made Firestarter. Let's see if it's truly as come on, John Carpenter does the score to that movie. We're going to stick with it. So with that, guys, we bid you a good night as we set this nerd mind to idle. Have a good night, guys. We will see you next week. And hopefully we've got some new topics. I want to talk about Avatar, guys.
Ava who?
Ava who? Oh, that's what we're going to end on. Ava who?
Rip it apart.
Stephanie drops the mic, and we are ending this episode.
Stay tuned.
Have a great night.